to sex, but to marriage is 18. We are not talking about those things. The petition is talking about children then accessing service. And we want to put a disclaimer also on the document which is circulating that says we want to give children age 12 contraceptives. That was fake, it never came from Parliament. Family planning is part of SRH services. So indirect you could say it's true, but when you say Parliament wants 12-year-olds to get contraceptives, it changes the whole narrative. Thank you. So I'll read now. On the 16th of March, Parliament of Zimbabwe received a petition titled Promoting Access to Reproductive Health Services for Adolescents and Young People in Zimbabwe from an advocate core team, an organization representing Access Task Force made up of 10 local organizations and supported and endorsed by 14 more CSOs. The petitioners presented to Parliament worrisome adolescent health indicators as the cause of necessitating the petition. Some of these are the facts. The national teenage pregnancy rate is sitting at 22%, 1 in every 5 girls. Early and unintended pregnancies as a leading cause of marriages in Zimbabwe is meaning that 1 in every 3 girls gets married before the age of 18 in Zimbabwe. 70,000 illegal abortions and complications are taking place in Zimbabwe annually. High school dropouts because of unintended pregnancies. The then Minister of Education, Dokora, in 2017 came to Parliament and presented a report that 4,500 girls had failed to cross from grade 7 to Form 1 because of pregnancy, because of unintended pregnancy, obviously. Adolescents and young people make up 15% of the national maternal mortality. And the same category of people, the adolescents below 18, have a very high incidence of HIV. Therefore, the petitioners' plea and prayer to Parliament is, I quote, they are asking us to amend the Public Health Act of 2018 to provide that there should be no restriction to accessing reproductive health care services by persons aged 12 and above. That includes HIV testing, pre-test and post-counseling, access to contraceptives, and other pregnancy prevention and management tools, including treatment of STIs. Provisions in the Children Justice Bill, which is currently about to come to Parliament, should ensure access to reproductive health services for adolescents and young people aged 12 and above. Then we are being asked to realign, because it seems evident we have so many laws that are not aligning together. We have one talking about 18 being majority, then you have another one talking of 16 as all these laws. The team, this core team is saying, can you realign so that we have one law when we are talking of adolescents? So I also wanted to bring to your minds, or as a fact, in Zimbabwe, we have passed a law on comprehensive sexual education. That law means that from grade 7, from what? Children in schools, both primary and secondary, will be taught about their sexuality. And also included in that act now is that a child who is pregnant, a child who is 13, who is pregnant, will remain in school. She will remain sitting next to a 13-year-old who is not pregnant. And this one who is pregnant will be allowed to go to the clinic and access health services. We are together. So I wanted generally for us to understand. Having said this, I want the House to understand one thing today. This room today is like a parliament. You are free to say what you want to say. And there is no right and wrong position. What you say is your position. And the next person must then not boo you or clap for you. We do not clap during hearings because it intimidates the person who wants to talk about something else. Thank you very much. And so now I will start with, if there are people who are coming here as organizations and they want to speak first, because we tend to take organization positions first, and then I'll open to the rest of the people who are speaking for themselves, as either as mothers, aunties, or just residents of Zimbabwe. So may I have hands up for organizations, please? Oh, we don't have organizations. Thank you.
I'm representing. My name is Tinotenda Mangombe. I am with Voices of the Mothers. That's the organization I'm working with. Sorry, all protocol observed for the sake of time. There are 4 of us who are going to be presenting over what we talked about. I'm presenting the legal aspect, which we are worried about. Sorry, let me just the laws and policies of our nation are supposed to bring peace and order. We understand that's what laws are supposed to do. They're supposed to bring peace and order. But this petition amendment will by no means bring peace and order, but it will rather continue to divide children and parents and increase the breakdown of the family unit, continuing to break the very institution which is what brings peace and order in a society. There are a number of laws and policies, I think what we actually referred to just now, of having children who are pregnant, being with the other children who are not pregnant. I think that's another thing that needs to be dealt with. I'm not saying those that are pregnant are not supposed to be there, but it's something, these are laws and policies which are not necessarily bringing peace and order because they're not helping these children not to want to have sex outside of marriage. So the very institution is being attacked, and a number of those laws, including some which made contraception widely available, especially the one on condoms, which were made widely available, brought us to where we are now. That's making contraceptives widely available. It cannot. Availing more contraceptives to the 12-year-olds is not going to fix this problem. The Convention on the Rights of the African Child, I'm going to talk about parenting, the rights of the parents. The Convention on the Rights of a Child, number 18, says parents are the main people responsible for bringing up a child. When the child does not have any parents, another child will have this responsibility. They are called a guardian. Parents and guardians should always consider what is best for the child's government, for the child. Governments should help them. There's a stress on helping us as parents to parent our children. Where a child has both parents, both of them should be responsible for bringing up that child. So the implications of having laws and policies which are okaying sex outside of marriage for these children, and so the state would be taking the parental role. But when we look at the Englands and the Americas, a child will be parented by the moral laws of the state. But at 18 years of age, when they're delinquent, because they now become drug addicts because of the lives that they've been living, as they've been having sex outside of marriage, and the emotional trauma which even us grown-ups cannot contain. And then when they're 18 years old, it's the same parent who is now called kana to satisfy their desires. And then the other number 5 of the Convention on the Rights of the Child says they have a right to guidance from a family, and so we ought to be ensuring they have families and they have parents to take care of them, and as to address the root cause of some of the same problems from arising again. I hope you understand my point there. I think the root cause is we need to try and get them into families, these children, and help them in families. And the government needs to help us as parents, not fight us, and not take away our parenting role, because the state cannot be a parent.
And I came here to our position as a political party, where we are saying no to this position. I think we are cognizant of the fact that the Constitution of Zimbabwe, Section 81(2), states that a child's best interests are paramount in every matter concerning the child. Section 81(1)(e) states aware of how many women are having cervical cancer in Zimbabwe, how many women are failing to have their services removed because they cannot afford it. We cannot afford to expose our children to cervical cancer and the effect of contraceptives because we want to dance to the tune of donor funders who are coming. To cause immorality to our children. We need to prevent immorality, not pregnancy. We cannot have laws that support immorality. We need to deal with the mind that wants to have sex. We need to increase sexual education and awareness programs to young children. Yes, we have a crisis of poverty and young children engaging in sex. We need to deal with the social misconstructs in our society. I also think that it is time to rethink national security in our parliament and moderate the power and influence of donor funders who come with their own agendas, who come with biological warfare to our people. We all know they're kissing us policy on depopulating Africa, and this is one of their plans. We should totally not be accepted in Zimbabwe. A child is a child and requires parental care and protection from all forms of abuse, and this idea will only take away the role of a parent, in short, which is de-parenting of children. In March 2010 in Switzerland, they introduced a starter condom for 12-year-olds, and most Swiss citizens rejected it. They cited that it sends a wrong message that it is okay for a 12-year-old to have sex. We are Africans, it is a taboo. In Shona Manenji, which is the very
kuti no to the petition. Kuti the late famous Dr. Oliver akataura vachiti tsvaga chikonzero chaita musoro mutemo mati 22% yevana vari kuita foreplay, 70,000 yevana vari kuita madeath, vari kuita maillegal abortions. Chii chakonzeresa? Imi musave nekondomu, tichandisa kondomu kuti usaite nhumbu. Chimbotsvagai kuti chaita kuti ndinoda kuita nhumbu chii ndiri mwana. Tiri kutaura kuti isai manitsi edu pamberi. Ndiri mwana ane 12 years. Ndorepwa here? Hozi kana mandipa kondomu chokwadi chandorepa. Statistics dziri kutaura kuti vana vari kuindulga in sexual activities because vari kunyengedzwa nemaperpetrators, not because vanozvida. Saka tava kutaura kuti semwana muri kundidzidzisei, ndichivawo kunemi vana maine vese vari pano kuti sex education yakufanira kuita chinhu chiri common. Taurai nevana, garai navo pasi. STD is real, unwanted pregnancies are real. Tidzidzisei, tichengetedzei, magona mukati child care. Tiri vana, tida kufa mumapapiro enyu, tida kudzidziswa zvakanaka nezvakaipa. Ndiri kuti musandipe kondomu ndibhadharire school fees, musandipe mapirits, nditsvagirei other alternative activities dzekuita. Tivakirei magiraundi titambe bhora, tivakirei zvikoro zvakawanda tinodzidza, titsvagirei mapractical activities. Nekuti tiri kushaya zvekuita, tashaya zvekuita tanoenda makonde because ndo yega activity inenge iripo. Tipei ma-alternatives sevana.
Very much.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Bongle Mau.
parent, ndiri kutaura ndakamirira vabereki. Ndichiona mwana we12 years, ndiri kuona mwana asati adevelopa in terms of their mental and psychological capacities. Mwana achiri kuda guidance kuneni mubereki. Mwana handichiri kubhadharira zvese. Saka kana tikamuti mwana uyu ngachi decide kuti ari kuda kuita zvepabonde uye aite methods kana kuti aite amwe mapiritsi kana kuti ashandise makondomu. Zvinoreva kuti mwana uyu akutoita zvinhu zvechikuru asati akura. Saka inini semubereki zvinondirwadza nokuda kwekuti ndikapa decision iyoyo ndiri kutouraya generation. Nekuti isusu takazosvikawo patiri nokuda kwekuti vabereki vedu vakanga vachiti aiwa izvi ndezvevakuru, imimi vana zvenyu ndeizvi, chiindai kuchikoro. Saka inini ndiri kuti semubereki no to that petition. Vana ngavave vana, vakuru voita vakuru, mazvita.
We have our position paper that are going to debrief the House to understand where are we coming from as the young people when we say that there should be no age restriction or barrier to the access of the SRHR issues and services. It seems as if the majority is limiting the context of the SRHR issue to condoms and sex. SRHR is a package. We have a lot of factors that we take into consideration. When we say that maybe someone who's below the age of 18 or 16 should get a consent from the parents to go and access the STI screening. Because of the economic status of our country, some of the parents have migrated to diaspora, sitting for example, but you see Vana, child-headed families. Then Vana are 16 years. Young people are becoming sexually active and indulge in sexual activities at a tender age. Scientifically proven that most of the girls are engaged in sexual activities at 12 because they are sexually active. When the minister comes to the Parliament and presents that 1 in 5 of the children in 2017 failed to proceed to secondary because they fell pregnant. Where did the pregnant came from? They are not indulged. So it seems as if we are running from the present reality that these kids are indulged. But at the end of the day, what is our position as the young people? If any young person goes to the nearest health facility seeking for an STI screening, they must be provided that service without a consent. That's our position paper, the young people's network. And we have got the problem statement that we want to present to the House, which then brings us to the issue of why we are saying yes to the petition. The age of consent to sex, we can't take away the fact that there's a legal deadlock in terms of the policy in Zimbabwe that will take all this crisis, because someone is allowed to get at 16, not allowed to marry at 16. Meaning to say, we are saying young people should continue to do sex from 16 to 17, but they can't be married. They are doing sex. So the position paper tries to say there are national statistics that are being presented, which reflects that 48 of the young people in Zimbabwe, they are not tested HIV. As a country, Zimbabwe goes to Africa by 2030, we should have 90%, by 2020, 90% will be tested overall by treatment. And yet the viral loads are suppressed. But we cannot be able to reach the target if we've got 48% of the young people but are tested, then the rest are not tested. Why? Because we are saying, mwana akaenda chika STS SRH service, kana ari below the age of 18, arikuenda unaine marriage, but parikugara nemwana. This is the problem that we are facing. So as the young people we are saying yes to the petition, because it helps us to ratify the problem that we are facing as a nation in terms of our age.
Thank you. My name is Tengai Rasukwa, and I am representing the Gracious Women Fellowship and Husband Agape. Our position is we are saying no to the petition. Why? For starters, Zimbabwe as a nation has an identity. And our identity as a nation comes from our cultural norms and our very own constitution. Let's start with the constitution of the nation, which constitution came into place in 2013. This constitution starts by defining our values as a nation. One of these values is that we have a value and a principle to respect our religious and cultural norms. And that's our value as a nation. Who is Zimbabwe? What is a Zimbabwean? We should separate us from others and have our own identity. That's the first point. So as Zimbabwe, our culture, let's for a minute forget about religion. The culture, traditionally, our understanding is a 12-year-old cannot be expected to be indulging in sexual intercourse. A 12-year-old is a grade 7. A grade 7 going to the family clinic without a mother, asking for assistance in getting contraception. That's a grade 7. From there, let's look at our religion. I'm a Christian, we are Christians, but we are also considering other religions in Zimbabwe. I don't expect any, I actually don't know of any other religion besides Christianity, which will say yes to this when we look at our values and our principles as a religion. Section 16 of our Constitution is very clear. It says this nation, the state for this nation, has the responsibility to ensure that our culture and our values are respected. It's a responsibility that our state has. Secondly, Section 60, subsection 3, reads as follows. Parents and guardians of minor children have the right to determine in accordance with their beliefs. That's our constitution, which is the supreme law of the land. In accordance with their beliefs, the moral and religious upbringing of their children. So if this petition becomes law, what then happens is the parent is no longer in control. The beliefs of the parent don't matter anymore. It is the state's laws that now matter. We are in the process right now of ensuring that we align our laws with the Constitution, which Constitution reflects what we agreed on as a nation. As part of alignment, the marriage bill that we have been talking about, you will realize that it is seeking to align the provisions of the Constitution with regards to the age of marriage, the age of legal majority. Our Constitution says it is only at 18 that the right to marry can be exercised by a young person. Now, our Marriages Act as it stands allows a 16-year-old to get married. So in an effort to change that so that it aligns with the Constitution, we have the Marriages Bill, which is saying we have to change that from 16 to 18. That's an effort being made by our Parliament.
That's an effort that we are making as a nation to align with what we agreed in 2013. So, if we now say, okay, our age of marriage is 18, our age for consent in terms of our criminal law, Section 70 criminalizes only those who sleep with those who are under the age of 16. That makes the age of consent 16, which means a 12-year-old at our law is not capable of saying yes to sex. It's statutory rape. It causes an arrest. So what are we saying when we then say we are changing the marriage's law, and we are now saying no, but for purposes of sexual intercourse, it's fine, we expect them to indulge. Fine, we understand the proponents are saying, oh, we want to recognize what is happening because they have their statistics. Very well, thank you. But let's look at it this way. With those statistics as they stand, is this petition going to change the position? Is this the answer? Right. It is not. Let's not approbate and reprobate as a nation and lose our identity in the process. Let's remain Zimbabweans. Let's not borrow Western culture. That's not us. We know that we inculcate values in our children. We teach them that there is no sex before marriage. If they do, they know that if they are doing this, they will be punished. So most of them are actually abstaining out of fear. And we are okay with that. As parents, we are okay with that. Allow me to just continue speaking. Another issue.
Can you just submit, because you can't speak forever?
Okay.
So many people.
I have 2 points left, and I'll submit a written petition. Our other point is, this is subtracting the rights that are given to a parent in terms of the Constitution, in terms of the Guardianship of Minors Act. If your child falls sick, he cannot be operated on without your consent. He cannot be treated without your involvement. A parent matters. If your child wants to go to a school trip, he cannot go without you authorizing it. So why should she go to that family clinic without me? I want to be there. So don't take away my rights as a parent. Furthermore, as a woman who has children on family planning, what I know when I had my first child is, my doctor told me, these are your options. So these being your options, each option has a side effect. And they told me, backache, headache, nausea, a lot of things. So are you telling me that if we are to make this a freebie for all, it means in my house, my grade 7 will be rushing with nausea to the toilet, and I am following because of the side effects of contraception, and I should be okay with that? No. Lastly, ladies and gentlemen, just allow me to say this. Allowing this petition to become law is affording our children an opportunity to hold a loaded gun. What does a child with a loaded gun do with it? He experiments. So it's like a green light to premarital sex, though it does not seem so on the face of it. Actually, we are saying to our children, it's actually okay. Go ahead and do it. I'm not watching. Thank you.
As a mother, my name is Dr. Nyabuswe. I'm just speaking as a mother who also happens to be. So I'm just want to unpack one of the statements on which this petition was based. Because the national teenage pregnancy rate is 22%. So the Zimbabwe Demographic Health, the ZDHS in 2015, revealed the following breakdown of teenagers who had begun childbearing 19-year-olds was 48%, 18-year-olds 31%, 16-year-olds 9.4%, 15-year-olds 3.2%. And to put it in perspective, of the 18 and 19-year-olds account for 80% of the teenage pregnancies. This is according to ZDHS, which is a national survey.
2015.
Yes.
Almost how many years ago?
5. But this is the statement, this is the figure that is used in the petition. If you ask, it says 22%, which is based on the figure of ZDHS 2015. So of these teenagers, and 2/3 are in the rural areas, and according to ZDHS again, the risk factors for teenage pregnancy, low level of education, living in the rural areas, and teenagers in the lowest wealth quintile. And the survey found an almost 6-year difference in median age at first sexual intercourse between women with no education and those with more than a secondary education. So this is a 6-year difference that education makes. Then the National Adolescent Fertility Survey of 2016, their breakdown, they studied girls who have ever been pregnant, in quotes, 10 to 14-year-olds. 0.2% of 10 to 14-year-olds had ever been pregnant. 15-year-olds, just as a standalone, 1.6%, which goes up to 5.4% of 16 to 17 years, and then 18 to 19 years age group, 32%. So this petition is targeting 1.8% of children in the country who have ever been pregnant, and proposing to amend a law because of 1.2%. Is it easier to deal with the problems causing these 1.8% to become pregnant, or to enact a law for 98% of the children of Zimbabwe? Again, the same breakdown in terms of causative factors, the rural, in the urban areas, those in the peri-urban informal settlements. And interestingly, in the National Adolescent Fertility Study, 45% of respondents, 15 to 19%, when asked about the reason behind their first pregnancy, said they actually wanted to fall pregnant. So this law, even if it's enacted, 45% of those children will still fall pregnant because we have not dealt with the underlying issues causing them to fall pregnant. And again, the study found that almost half of first sexual encounters in those under 15 were either forced or coerced, either be it trickery or blatant rape. The Multiple Indicator Cluster Survey 2019, 17.6% of girls 15 to 19 years had a live birth, and 0.7% before the age of 15. That's the MICS 2019, that's last year. So that's 0.7%. And 44% of the girls, of teenage girls who had fallen pregnant, belonged to two religious sects, which I shall not name, but which we all know. Again, if this petition goes through, the same girls will not, it will make no difference because we have not dealt with the underlying issue causing them to get pregnant.
Excellent.
And it found 4.8% of girls and 3% of boys before the age of 15 were initiating sex, which means 95% of children under 15 years old are not having sex. I just want to get this, dispel this myth that all 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds, they're all having sex. It's 5%. So is it not easier to target why are these 5% indulging than to assume, enact a law that's going to affect 95% who are not indulging? And then I've heard there's been a lot about the 200 girls in Benga who've fallen pregnant this year alone. This is most unfortunate, but again must be taken in context. This was in the midst of a global pandemic with strict and prolonged lockdowns, which had a devastating impact on incomes of parents who are surviving on the informal sector and who are already, 80% of which in this area, are living below the poverty dating line. And in this instance, we know what happens. The girls become commercialized and get pushed into prostitution in order to support the family. So even if this law, let's just say it had been in effect, I put it to you that these pregnancies would still have taken place because of the lack of the social safety net and because of the concomitant breakdown in health services. If you look on the DHIS, I think as a health committee you have access to DHIS you'll find antenatal bookings this year down by 50%, immunization rates down by 40%, and family planning specifically went down by 10 to 80%. Access to family planning this year, depending on the method. So again, even if this petition yesterday say was already low, I put it to you that those girls in Bigger are most likely to have fallen pregnant. Again, medical issues which someone had already put. These are not, contraceptives are not benign, it's not water that they're taking, it's not sweets. These are active hormones. Normally, the normal estrogen in your body, what does it affect? It affects the brain, it affects the uterus, the reproductive tract, the breasts, the genitourinary system as a normal factor within your body as you reach puberty. So side effects of contraceptives which are known on every box, which are known by the WHO and manufacturers, short-term irregular bleeding, which can cause anemia, nausea and vomiting, as someone has mentioned, headaches, migraines, weight gain. Long-term, there's increased risk of hypertension, blood clots, heart attacks, especially those over 35. And all of these side effects, they increase the longer your exposure to oral, especially combined oral contraceptives. As someone has mentioned again, increased risk of breast and cervical cancer, which already are two of the leading causes of death in women. So additionally, specifically to adolescents, the effect of combined oral contraceptives, there are studies that are showing that there may be an effect on reduced bone density, because when the child is growing, this is when we pack up most of our bone density, and they have an effect of reducing that bone density. And there are studies which are showing that in effect of increase in depressive symptoms, especially amongst adolescents, and as we already know, in adolescence there's a lot of emotional and psychological issues happening, and there's a specific effect of combined oral contraceptives on increase in depressive symptoms. And but overall, most of the studies are between 15 to 19. These studies that I'm quoting, there is no good, sound, long-term studies of effect of exposing under 12 to 15-year-olds who are undergoing puberty to exogenous hormones which are contained in combined oral contraceptives. And so I think it is almost negligent and almost experimental to then do a widespread access of combined oral contraceptives when we don't have the sound scientific evidence to make sure that it is safe. As the Committee on Health, the first principle on health is first do no harm. And I don't think the science is yet in a position to say that there is no harm of exposing 12-year-olds and above 12-year-olds to combined oral contraceptives at the time of puberty. I will say no. Say no. Say no. I will say no in my individual capacity. Thank you. I'm looking for some youth. I'm coming there.
Why? Because nowadays, social media is a best friend. Mama wanangosha nenyaya. Mama they feel for 6 number. Okwesh kudara kana tete. These are not tete vanoro. Sai kana tete vanoro tete. So social media, that's the one that we need to change. So I don't think there's a reason for teaching one another to makodhomu, one another to makodhomu. One of our research was published. We show the suitability of the It's now too late because almost 80% of kids are pushing it. Who are not sexually active. So here we can say that actually what out there now to give a reason. Now but because of the problem we're just saying there's not a mathematics is there to eating anything reality.
Kuwirirana nepetition iyi. Why? Asi kune zvimwe zvinenge kutsanangurirwa nemadoctors like pakuzoshandisa mapiritsi apo havakwanise kuzotitsanangurira maeffects ane mapiritsi aya kana kwakumberi uku. So zvinhu zvachona izvozvo zvinozokonzeresa pamberi kuti zvizotinetsa, asi chiitiko chinenge chiri right kwatiri. And chimwe chinhu toti kune vana vari mumakommunity, you find kuti vakawanda vachona vari deaf havana kana information iyi. Saka kana kwazarurirwa izvi takukwanisa kudzidziswawo sema-communities, ngazvichidzidziswa on a community level kuti tinozwana tese information yacho nawo sevanhu vari deaf tokwanisa kunge tichase tichiziva, because kumba kwachona kuti ukwanise kuwana that information haukwanise kuiwana. Saka naizvozvo tinototi iparliament tinokutendai chaizvo nekuti izvi zvinosapotawo kuti zvive nebenefit kwatiri isu vanhu vari deaf.
Mwana ari 12 years tikuti say no to contraceptive. Hatisi kuda mapiritsi zvinotidzisa chirisi vana vadiki kuti mututi hanzi tokupiwa protection ndokupiwa mapiritsi kuchipatara kuti hanzi kuenda unoita tokupiwa go ahead kunoita sex. Hazviite izvozvo. Tikuti say no to contraceptive reZimbabwe. Ngatibatanei tine chinhu chimwe chete. Tisati vana vedu vadiki vana tiri vadiki vana tikuda dzidziso. Vamwe vazhinji vabereki vacho vanenge vasipo. Kazhinji kacho munhu wacho anosara nemunhu anenge achiita zvimwe zvisinganzwisisike sevana vanosiyiwa vari vadiki vanosiyiwa pamba neumwe munhu anoita zvinhu zvake zvaanoitawo asinganzwisisike. Saka vabereki ngatidzidze kuti vana vedu vanosiyiwa nevanhu vatinosara navo toziva kuti akamira sei, ari papi. Vamwe vanodzidziswa tinozvibvuma, asi isusu vana ngatiti say no to contraceptive. Semhuri yeZimbabwe tibatane. Ndatenda.
Ini hangu ndikuti no to contraception for 12-year-olds. Nekuti zvona tikufana kutarisa kuti sei vanhu chichanyanya kushamisira the 21st generation yabva yanyanya kuda kuita zvinhu zvepabonde. Chinoita ndechekuti it starts at home. There is no parental guidance, handiti. Then pane law yakauya kuti vana havasi kurohwa muchikoro. Pakasekuleta mavideos akawanda vana vakaita zvavanoda but havasi kurohwa, handiti. Tadaro kuti pane maside effects akawanda econtraception ataurwa. Zvekuti imagine inini hangu I'm 22, right? Ndonaka munimina kangu kane 12 years. Ezvinezvi kane access to contraception but ndakakurira ndichinzi zvonichi ndezvemubedroom ndezvanamama hazviite kana zvisingaite hazviite because vana ava vakadaleking guidance. Takakura tichioneswa mavideo ema-STIs kuti mwana azive. Ezvinezvi vana vari kuita zvakawanda. I remember maverenga nezve abortion again on the petition. It starts from kuregerera mwana achiita because contraception mwana atora condom but raputika aita nhumbu. It's like chinguvapa bvumire kuti vaenderere mberi nekuita nekurara vese vachiita zvavanoda vobva vaita abortion. Totanga kuti unwanted pregnancies, high death rates, vana vari kufa during abortion. So I'm saying no to contraception. Let's find other solutions. Ngatipiwe chikafu vana kwete makondomu nekuti vana ngatikunyengereka because tine nzara. That's what's happening. Thank you.